So audience, my back will be to you. If you can't hear me, I'm going to ask you guys just because this is your evening. If you can't hear me, just let me know. It's not so formal that you can't say something. This is your afternoon. You're listening to a few people who want to be able to be ahead of the group. And if you can't hear what they're saying, shame on me and shame on us for not getting that information to you. So we're going to welcome you to just let me know if you can hear, okay?
Yeah, that's
Are we ready to get started?
get you going here. Good evening. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Welcome to the South. I always get this wrong. South End Civic Association meeting. This is our mayoral debate. I'm glad to see a bunch of faces here. This is amazing. We usually have sorry, chair moving around this craziness. So I'm going to introduce myself real quick. We're going to do the pledge of allegiance. I'll introduce everyone up here, and then we will get started. So with that, if everyone stand up, please, for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm the president of the association. To my right, well, Rachel LaPointe, she's going to videotape.
I'm just for technology right now.
Right. Stream, she is our secretary. Nancy, she's floating around. You probably all know her. She is our trustee, and she was the ex-president. Thank you. And she has done all this. She has done this amazing work, put everyone together. So I would like everyone to give her a round of applause. To my right is the vice president, Valentine Peppers. He also sits on the Horse Creek Commission. Did I miss anything else? I think I said my name. If not, my name is Tanya Sterlini, president. I also sit on the D7 school board. I am on the Horse Creek Commission. I'm on the TIFA board. I think that's about it. Just so we all know, like some of us sitting here are board members, whatnot. That this, we have no, I don't want to say it, like we're not endorsing any candidate. The association is not endorsing any candidate. Just want that out there so everyone is aware. To my left, we have mayoral candidate Mo Baidu. I'm going to get names wrong. I apologize. Hassan Hussein. Anan. Lena Arzuni. Niece Milanowski
Is out of stage, but we will have something to show online for her 3-minute presentation.
and to our far left there is Mr. Tim Emery. He is the school board president for Westwood, and I just want to thank Westwood for allowing us to have this meeting.
Yes.
Tim is going to. Oh yes, sorry, Tim. Chair. He's also on the first. Did I miss anything else?
Yeah. President of Westwood. Oh. That was what she wants to do. Yeah.
Tim wanted to make some comments, and then it's gonna be back to me, and then we'll get started.
Okay, a few things. Welcome to Westwood. Glad to have you here. Restrooms are located the ladies' room. Go out the door and take a hard 180, and the men's room is the opposite way. Go out the door. These doors and do a 180. Your back here. There's a drinking fountain out there. Is there anything we can do? You'll agree? Well, like I say, welcome. Yeah, because she doesn't like it.
So if everyone can flip your names that are in front of you down, so those who are video will not see the improper person. I wish we all had name tags, but we do not.
I'm sorry, I don't want to be named.
We do have snacks and coffee to the back there. Get to them.
Diet donuts?
And donuts, I believe.
Diet donuts?
There's been time orders and everyone keeps their talking to a minimum. If you have to take a call, please, I ask that you go outside actually. So make the call, put your phone on silence, that no disruptions. We won't have fighting here. I'll just put that. We will ask you to leave immediately. We're gonna be peaceful. It's gonna be great. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna see these candidates and see what they're all about. Last thing, I apologize. We do have somebody that is going to sing the national anthem. Her name is Juan Rose. Do I have that correct, Nancy?
Yeah.
So after she sings, I will let.
We bring her forward.
Yeah. Before we come forward, please. Before we do that, I'm sorry, Mr. Juan, we have Juan Bradford here. He's our moderator. And he's did I get
there? Let me please introduce myself. I have been a servant of the city of Inkster for over 23 years. I was a firefighter there and also served the men and the community as chaplain of that area. Also, I am currently in business for myself, and I'm taking that business and disseminating it and doing other things. I'm a servant of the community. I will do what you need me to do when you need me to do it. I find that one of the greatest feelings of living anywhere is community service, and I really applaud everybody that's coming forward. Not everybody moves forward in a group to be a leader. It's just a very few that will come and do that, and that's what we're here for. And I thank you for allowing me to be a moderator for the evening.
One last thing, we do have the chief of police here sitting behind me. We do have other police attendance. So again, please everyone be respectful. And I will let one Rose Wilson.
Single row.
Single Rose. Thank you. She's going to take away with. Do you know? You remember the one please stand? Yes. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, came through the night, that our flag was still there. Oh, saved us that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of free and the home of the brave.
That was amazing. Like a what from
Someone in attendance, if you could stand up, please, and take your name, please. I think Mr. Hassan, he is going to play somewhere. Hassan's out there. You go. Here you go. Oh yes, moment to Here. Stop with waiting. Treasurer. Hey, treasurer. Yeah. All right, sir, you ready to go? We're gonna take it away. I'll let you state the rules and all that.
Well, one thing I'd like to say to the candidates on the panel tonight, welcome. Get ease. You're about to project yourself to a community, and it looks like the community we have tonight are very ready to hear what you have to say. So I'm going to probably ask some tough questions, but it's so that they can have answers to tough questions. I'm going to ask tough questions so that you can answer them so that they can be informed. Do not take some of the questions that I ask personal, because chances are, if any one of the people I selected to come up and sit in my place, they may ask the same question. So, as far as time is concerned, the president of the school board will be giving, I think he'll give demerits to people who go past time. He's got a bill.
Okay, 5 points away from you.
Oh my goodness, he's gonna take points away. So he's gonna be a moderator. There's gonna be 1 minute for rebut. There's gonna be 2 minutes for answers to questions. And we look forward to what you have to say. We really do. The things that you have to say, believe it or not, will be coming and flowing out of your heart. And the people can't be fooled. They're gonna hear what they hear. I'm sorry. So just come from your heart, be natural, relax. We're going to be here for at least more than 5 minutes, so let's have some fun, okay? With that in mind, is there any other introductions or?
I'm sorry. There is a sign-in sheet going around. If you guys could fill that out. If anyone has their questions, if anybody wants to ask questions, if we have time, we'll let you guys ask your own. We do have the index cards up here, but if you have any filled out, just drop them off at the table here and we'll vet them and get it through.
I have a question. Is there any copy paper or pencils in case someone wants to jot down notes?
Pens
We have pens,
in the
paper.
green cup.
Can we pass them out to the people so that they can take notes if they care to?
And then give them their
If you
card.
have paper, pencil, please raise your hand. Thank you. Maybe let's hand on this side. Very good. So, I give them a few minutes to get paper, pencil out, and we'll get started. I'm going to ask if we can get started on this side. If you can stand and give your name, your occupation,
Sure.
and what you're running for.
Of course.
All right.
I'm sorry, everyone hear me? Do they have a time limit? 2 minutes?
We have 2 minutes.
It's my introduction.
Yes.
Your introduction. Okay.
2 minutes for introduction.
That was 3.
I'm sorry, I apologize. 3 minutes. That's the first mistake I've made.
That's probably what. Get it out. Do you want me to actually stand right there? Please.
Yeah, please. Well, there's no microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know. Project.
Yeah.
Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here today. My name is Lena Arzuni. I'm running to be your next mayor for the city of Dearborn Heights. Who am I and why am I running? I've been a resident in this city for the past 23 years. I'm a working mother, a caregiver, a professional businesswoman. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a mother of 2 adults that graduated from Crestwood High School with honors. I'm a caregiver to my mother, who I love dearly and would do anything for. With my background in business management, I worked in the banking industry for 20 years. I've managed a successful family-owned businesses. My husband and I worked ourselves from the ground up. Nothing was handed to us. With my leadership, management, financial, and communication skills, I can bring a lot to the table. Why am I running? I see the potential this city has. I see how we are wasting our resources and talent in not making effective changes. For instance, the people who are residents in this city are the most talented people in the county. I believe in collaboration and teamwork. Transparency is my key component to my leadership. The only way we can move forward is if we all come together. Unity isn't just a word. My top priority is fiscal responsibility. Having the right qualified people in the right place that are willing to work for the benefit of the city, not for personal interest. We have to communicate, talk with respect to each other, even if we disagree. I plan to work with our federal partners to get funding for the Ecorse Creek, widen and deepen our drains. I will carry on the process of fixing water infrastructure to reduce water main breaks. Public safety is another priority. This election is not about me. It's about us. It's about our homes. It's about our future. So let's come together because that's the only way real change happens. And remember, your voice, your future. Thank you.
So, the 5 seconds then, and now we're going to go.
Thank you for your response.
Thank you.
Next, please.
All right, my name is Hussein Anani. It's important that you guys know who I am and where I come from. I am running for mayor of Dearborn Heights.
No, sir.
Pleasure to be here.
They're wanting you to say your name again.
Oh, Hussein Anani. Yep. Running for Dearborn Heights mayor. And I am a small business owner and I work in the construction sector. Right? It's very important that you know why I'm here and what I bring to the table. It's very hard to do without telling you guys a little bit about where I come from. My business has done, I mean, something out there is looking out for us, but it's done really well. And it's done so with a leadership style that is servant engaging. We closed out last year up like 263% on the books. Year to date from January 1st, we're up by about 40% headcount. We were recognized by the Construction Association of Michigan in last week's magazine. We were awarded the 50 companies to watch by the state of Michigan with proclamation by the governor. We've done all these things, and I will not pretend that I was wearing a cape doing it. I did it by myself. The only reason I was able to do that was because of my leadership style, bringing people to a table so they can work collectively and collaboratively towards a common goal. That's the only way I'm able to do that. I think that's what we're missing. I want to reiterate some of the things you said because a lot of it was about transparency and mismanagement. And for me, I'm gonna tackle on mismanagement, and this is why I'm running. The reason why I'm running is because I see a lot of flaws in our city that are just coming up short of the potential that we have. And it bothered me enough to say that complaining wasn't going to do it for us. And so I echo some of the points that you made. But it really is just mismanagement. And the way I can bring that to the table, and the reason why I'm running is because, well, my business mindset would allow this to be a for-profit city again. It'll solve a lot of our problems so we don't have to sell ourselves to have a billboard on Telegraph that if it isn't like. We don't have to sell ourselves now to know where our $10,000 is going next or where it's coming from. And so a lot of that I can bring to the table. While I'm out here, actually, I'd like to also give thanks to everybody who came out here and made this happen. I know that it's volunteer based, and sometimes we forget that. And to every single one of you for showing up, because I think you're doing the right thing by just being curious. Let's hear it. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to talk about priorities a lot today. We're going to talk about what our goals are. For me, it's obviously going to be infrastructure. It's going to be our trust in government, what transparency looks like, what accountability looks like. And accountability isn't enough, not where we come from. Accountability is only enough if there's a plan of action afterwards. So there's a path to improvement. Otherwise saying, you know what, that was my fault, it's not enough, right? So we need to do better. And I think you guys see that right now in local government. I think we all see it. I'm here because I've heard the same things that you guys already know. Also, our neighborhoods, we have such strong, passionate communities. We have so much more potential because there's so many people that care, but they're overseen. I think it's funny to see a north versus south Dearborn Heights. That's funny where I come from. I think we can do better as well. With that said, this isn't about politics as usual. The entire reason why we're running is a new way forward, and that wasn't just a slogan.
Thank you very much.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, I want to thank you all for being here today. I want to thank Mr. Agani and Mr. Arzoni, anyone that's going to put their name forward on the ballot and will have the initiative of running for an elected official. I want to give them a lot. Standing before a bunch of our constituents, our residents, and pleading and asking for your guys' support. I'm sorry. My name is Mo Maydoun. I'm your Dearborn Heights City Council Chairman, and I am running for mayor of Dearborn Heights. And really, before I began, I really wanted to recognize the room. I wanted to recognize the Dearborn Heights Civic Association. I wanted to thank them. I really wanted to thank our Westwood School District for, because every year there's a forum here, and I've been able to attend since 2017. The reality is, like a lot of my opponents here spoke about today, there's a lot of mistrust in the city of Heights. People don't feel the connection at City Hall. Our police department does not feel the connection from this administration. Our fire department does not feel the connection of our administration where they stand today. And residents, my team and I have knocked over 22,000 doors across the city of Dearborn Heights. And every single response that I've received was, what has happened to the city of Dearborn Heights? And the leaders that you trust, that you believe in, that stand before you, put their trust in Mo Maydoun. I have received the endorsement from our police department, both command and patrol. Unanimously, every single firefighter, both men and women, have unanimously voted for me to be your next mayor of Dearborn Heights. And I bring this up to you guys today because there is a disconnect at City Hall. Residents feel it, our police department feels it, and our fire department. And there's a reason why they've endorsed me specifically as your next candidate. It's not because I'm ready to just throw my name into the race, but because I have a track record to say I've stood by our police department, I've stood by our residents, and I stood by our. And the reality is, what is taking place in our city has been absolutely disgusting. And that's the word that I'm going to use because that's the word that the residents are voicing today. We're the only team that sent out a citywide survey. 10,000 homes, 2,700 residents responded to the survey. The number one issue response was driving. People don't feel safe in their home. The second biggest issue that we received was the light. People are saying that these neighborhoods are breaking down, they're falling apart. If you look at and see, walking through some of the neighborhoods, 1 out of every 5 homes is having blight. People, slumlords are taking community. And our third biggest issue that we are seeing today is our flooding issue. My team has already published that, Mo Maydoun for mayor, telling you the solutions that we have to fix these issues. And we know that blight is taken over. We know that flooding has been an occurrence for the last 60 plus years. While everybody has made promises, we have a solution, and we're going to be able to do it together because united will win. God bless.
So now that we had our candidates introduce ourselves, and they did a very good job with that.
Let me interject, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Want to play, you have one more who's not here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Have to go back.
Right. Yeah, this one too.
You're gonna have to look to your right. Or
To your right. She's out of state.
Denise couldn't make it, but we allowed her to give a 3-minute intro. Tim, it can only go on that screen that you're at next to you.
Yeah, that's, whenever I use that, I have problems. It says empty my keyboard. Sorry. I had it ready to go upstairs.
It was there a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a bird. Yeah, I like the bird. He'll get there.
You want to go? This thing.
Well, I agree. Take it personal here.
So should we have light for this? Yeah.
He's visiting.
Should already be. So it's very out. I'm sure. Is there a teenager in the room?
Love 10-year-old with her
Good.
Nancy, if you need some questions or anything, I'll find with Rachel.
Maxwell. I'm running for the office of Dearborn Heights Mayor. When I served as Dearborn Heights interim mayor, it gave me a chance to really see what happens on a day-to-day basis in City Hall. We have a lot of good employees who do a great job in running the city smoothly. I also served as Dearborn Heights City Council Chair for 4 years. This showed me another side of how our government is run. I am currently on City Council, so I'm aware of the issues that our city faces. After serving as interim mayor, council chair, and city council, I feel this is my next move in life. I bring with me a lifetime of experience and a wealth of knowledge. My life has not always been easy. Have I made mistakes? Yes, but I've learned from them, and that's how I became the person I am today. Let me give you a little bit of my background. I'm retired from AT&T, where I started as an operator and worked my way up to project manager. I also served as the chief union steward with CWA for years. This gave me the experience of talking to a variety of people, and also I learned to easily diffuse irate situations. Trust me, there were many. As chief union steward, I understand the union and issues surrounding them, like the importance of negotiating a union contract that is good for everyone. I am also a retired real estate agent. This helped me to watch the real estate market over the years and how different trends affected our property values. I'm very involved in the community, from volunteering as young as 5 years old with my aunt to giving back to the community through Meals on Wheels, ensuring our residents who are unable to leave their home get at least one good hot meal every day. I participated in the e-course cleanup over the years, and I volunteer at many of the local churches when they have a fundraising event. I personally am a longtime member of St. Linus Church since 1962. I'm a member of Spirit American Legion, Scala VFW, and Polish League of American Veterans, also known as PLAV. I have 3 very successful children who are grown and a beautiful 2-year-old granddaughter. I also have family members who reside at both ends of the city. As a longtime resident from Dearborn Heights, this place is what I call home. As a child, I walked past City Hall from school. Sometimes I would stop and talk with Mayor Canfield. I took an interest in Dearborn Heights politics at a very young age. It wasn't until after I retired from AT&T that I decided it was time to get involved. One of my concerns is to make sure we have a balanced budget and cut out unnecessary spending. I want our police department to be fully staffed to ensure the safety of our residents. We are facing many issues at this time. Many of them seem to be traffic related. We have people who think it's okay to run stop signs and red lights like they don't exist. This has to stop. It seems like almost daily we read about a traffic related injury or death. Our ordinance department needs extra staff to help get our blight issues under control. I'm also concerned about Ecorse Creek and its flooding. I remember as a young child, family member having flooding issues. Their home backed up to the creek. It's obvious we can't completely stop the flooding, but I'm not going to lie to you and say I will. What I will do is actively seek grants that can help relieve the burden of flooding.
No, she went over her time.
So that was
Fair.
Thank you. So let's get right to it. Friend audience, let's get right to it. This first question I'm going to give to Mr. Mobiledine. They do. Sir, they do. The question I have for you tonight Why, I heard you say earlier, and you gave information about the fire department, how they voted for you. I am from the fire department. I'm retired out of the Inkster Fire Department. So I understand the need to have council and the mayor fighting for you. My question for you is, why did you vote no on the grant that was bringing money to the city? Please explain why you voted no, but yet you said that you got their vote. Police and fire. Why did that happen? If you can explain that to the city.
Thank you so much, and I think just to reiterate your question, why did I vote no in the fire station grant money that was coming to putting a new fire station at the golf course? 2 years ago, I also voted no on this golf course's whole ordeal because while the Easter Brothers will do a phenomenal job at the golf course, the business deal was a very bad deal for the city. And I've even stated this on record. It's quoted in the Detroit newspaper. The city of Dearborn Heights put itself in a very, very tough situation where we're not receiving any revenue. While I was also making this argument, other people, residents have come to us and said, well, what's going to happen once we give this out? Aren't we going to start allowing things to be built onto this fire station? 2.5 years ago, I gave my word that I would never allow anything to be built on the fire station, even if it meant that unanimously the fire department has stood before me and supported me. I gave my word, and I have said I will not support for anything to be built on our green space because we are witnessing today flooding across the south end and into the Ecorse Creek because we built homes on a floodplain that said do not build. And then there are some residents here, like Suzanne Todd, who has been an expert in flooding and who has given her word and said, hey, you build on this, and we're going to continue to see more flooding into the north end. And so where I stood there was a protection for our residents, where it may have seemed that I was voting against the fire department, and the reality is I was protecting our residents and standing by my word.
Or something that's not on the greenway, something that's
1,000% because we have a failing fire department, fire station, not fire department. We have the best fire department in the country, but our fire station has crumbled. It was built incorrectly back in 2003. Our firefighters today are sleeping in a firehouse that has mold, that has flooding, that has a broken roof, and they came to the administration and they said we have an issue, and nothing was done. They called me, sat me down as the council chairman, and said for safety.
Thank you. Time is up. The same question. I'm going to ask a very upfront and honest question. You are not on the council at this time. Would you have voted yes for the proposal to be built on this greenway?
I would.
And tell us why, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So my answer is going to be a lot shorter. Since I wasn't in the kitchen, I don't know what greens were in that dish. But the reason why I would have voted yes is because when I went to that council meeting specifically, I was very interested in knowing what the city engineer Ali Deeb had to say. I was very interested in knowing what the fire chief had to say, and to see that they had unanimous support and they had these studies to state that hey, we can build here, and the science proves it. And I have utmost respect for Tom Wenzel, but Tom Wenzel had brought up the point at the time that I think the company that cuts the grass had seen a lot of water build up in that area, so they might see concerns there. People had speculated that there was going to be water buildup and you're going to see flooding in that area across the golf course and cause later on issues. I at that point I just say trust the professionals, and that's what I'm going to stick it to. I will stay in my lane. I know where I'm strong. I know where my knowledge base is. And it's not going to be an engineer. It's not going to be in floodplains. And so if they have the trust reports that support them, I'm not going to get in their way. And if I have to question their credibility and their knowledge base, that's another thing. But I'm not getting anybody's way if their job and they're getting paid to do that. So that's where I stand.
Thank you. Please, question, would you support such a vote if you were on council? If so, why? If you would not, why?
I would support it. And the reason why I would support it is because there is, like Mr. Anani was saying, an engineer. Basically, that's the person that's qualified that understands how the city operates or how basically building operates. So if he's saying according to his plans and according to his research and resources that we can build it, why not? Why not? Why not actually get our fire department somewhere safe so they can keep working on our city the way they should, so they can actually be comfortable and be successful where they need to be. So yes, wonderful.
So this is a question for all. The question you all, I'm going to ask you to answer. As a mayor of this beautiful city and the residents, when you get elected mayor, as mayor, will you commit to attending all city council meetings and stay there and get residents answers and questions to what they're paying their taxes to get questions and answers for? If so, will you commit to doing that? That question is for all you. We start with you before we'll start you. I'm sorry.
I will commit to attending all the council meetings, yes. But I do have to explain something. For the current mayor not to attend, okay, I'm not here to speak on his behalf, but with all due respect from the audience, we do have to acknowledge that he is basically getting disrespected and hurt someone in his position. Even if you disagree with the person, you still have to just basically respect them. And this is something I did mention in my introduction. Even if we disagree, we have to respect each other. So.
Yeah.
The short answer is absolutely. I think the biggest problem that we have is the disconnect with our leaders. And I say this as a resident who serves a public office. But I say that because as a resident, we're the ones that end up losing, right? When they can't come to the table and figure out a common goal. So the short answer, even though yes, and I see where you're coming from, Leon. If the mayor and the city council have any issues, and excuse me for the language, but they need to hash that out before they get there. They have to have dedicated sessions prior. They need to have a liaison on the project if necessary. And as mayor, you have to be a leader and you have to show by example. And so if that means, you know what, I don't like what you're saying, but I respect it, then that's exactly what it means. And it's figuring that out and figuring out, you know what, at the end of the day, we need to work on facts and objective nature. We have to sit down and figure out what it is that we're trying to accomplish, that we're serving the same people. And the second you lose sight of that, you start serving yourself your own agenda. That's when things get complicated. And so long as that happens, and I'm in that chair, without a doubt, I will lead by example. So.
It's safe to say that I've been on the city council for the last 4.5 years.
Yeah.
And in those 4.5 years, I have missed 2 city council meetings. I had COVID, and I actually missed my best friend's wedding. And the second time, my 2-year-old, my son at the time, 2 years old, was up to the emergency room. I have never missed a budget hearing meeting. I've attended every single budget hearing meeting since 2021. And so the question is, will I be attending every city council meeting when I'm the mayor? Absolutely. Even if the tough questions are asked. And while the tough questions may seem disrespectful, the tough questions are made because these are the voices of our residents. And you signed up for the job to answer the tough questions for our residents. And so tell you that I've been city council for as long as the mayor's been the mayor, I've been on city council. And I can easily say that I have never disrespected the mayor. Anything. I've even regardless if you may agree or disagree. Still tell the mayor sometimes, Mayor, look, Mayor, let's have a good day. Hope you have a great day. So I can speak that for myself. And if somebody wants to disrespect me while I'm the mayor, I'm gonna find a way to hatch it out. We're gonna find a way to unite ourselves. Because the reality is residents are tired of the bickering and the back and forth. And all we really need to do is to move our city forward, is to come together and unite.
On to the next question, and I get a little humorous, but it's a setup so that the community can hear what he would say in a challenging moment. As a grandfather of 8, the other night I made my grandchild a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. They refused to eat it because they felt that they were disrespected and not getting enough peanut butter on that sandwich. When you are voted as mayor, or you are perhaps disrespected, what will you do with the feeling of being disrespected? Will you not attend the meeting on that particular day or the day after in order to get yourself together? How will you handle being disrespected?
Uh, I will answer this, and I go back to my experience and my leadership. Being on the city council for the last 4 years, 2 of the 4, I have been the city council chairman. And there are many times where we get sworn at, we're being disrespected. You had to learn to control your composure, understand, take it in, and have that dialogue. There are many times where residents come in or people from the administration will have we have our differences. But the reality is, everybody has the common ground. They just want what's best. And sometimes you allow your emotions to get the best of you. So I live by this quote. And a moment of patience and a moment of anger says 1,000 moments of regret. Those are quotes of Imam Ali alayhi salam. And I live by these because the reality is taking a step back, being patient, being able to control yourself will allow you to get to the distance that you need to get. Thank you.
Thank you.
Um, well, peanut butter and jelly sandwich could be tricky. No, it really comes down to leadership style. And I think we're all going to kind of say the same thing, right? We're going to figure it out. We're going to sit down. We're going to figure it out because we need a bunch of professionals at the table. We're a bunch of grown-ups. And so if I feel disrespected, I'm going to address it as so. And if I feel so and it was a personal attack, well, guess what? It's not personal. It's not. And you have to leave work where it lies. And sitting in that seat, that's what you got to understand. When you put on that tie, when you put on that suit, when you put on that uniform, then you're going to your job. And then you get to go home to your family, of course. And if you want to take your job personally, you want to act as so, I'm totally with it. That's the person I am. But you have to just leave it at the door. So when it comes to work, you don't take it personally. And if somebody's disrespecting me, I think there's a breakdown in communication. So that question then leads into what kind of leadership style do you have? What kind of control do you have in those situations? Right? I have serious concern over some of the issues that are currently happening between city council and the mayor, without a doubt. And I think most of you can agree with that. But if you look at my leadership style and the way that I've handled some of these issues of conflict, I've never had those issues. I've never left that way and it's carried over into the next week's meeting that I had. So yeah, it comes down to, believe it or not, what I said earlier, it comes down to being able to hash it out. You're right. I mean, I think being calm and being patient is absolutely one of the facets of and applications of how you get over that. And just give yourself some breathing room and create a barrier. But even then, you still have to come back to that table. You still have to address it. You have to set up those boundaries early on. And they're much easier to set up early on than they are during the conflict, right? So it comes down to a level of trust and respect and relationships that you build in that seat. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start off with respect and trust, and we're going to build from there. Hopefully, it continues. But you're going to have your tips, but hopefully, you don't see the utter disrespect and disregard and just incompetence. I don't want to say incompetence, but the lack of productivity that ultimately sacrifices between council and mayor seat. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Do you mind if you repeat that question?
The thing, I want to, yeah, but if indeed farmer and the citizenry wants to get angry with you by showing words, they disrespect you. Will you take time off on that day or the day after in order to get yourself together? Because after all, someone's disrespecting you. How would you handle that?
I would actually take some time, yes. And I would actually find a common ground that we can communicate as council members and mayor. So that's absolutely correct. But I also have to keep in mind that basically I will answer their concerns to the best of my ability. So meaning that if I do have to feel disrespect in any way, okay, I do have to put a stop to it at the end of the day. Not by showing up, but by actually enforcing it in a way, in a respectful way.
So if I can ask for clarity,
Mhm.
at the onset of what your statement was, you said that you will take some time off. Is that what I was hearing?
Time off, I will take time to communicate, okay, with the councils or with whoever is disrespecting me as a mayor, all right? And actually find a common ground so we can work on things basically and set an example to the city, to the residents, and to the youth that are watching us. Okay? And we have to basically present ourselves in the most professional way possible.
Thank you for clarifying. So now we get to the hard questions. This is for everyone, of course. We started here. This is for you. How do you plan to address the city's challenges when someone is never involved with the school board? If you were a mayor and you were never involved with the school board or any other organization in the city, how can you productively be a city mayor if you're never attending outside organizations within the city? How can you productively?
Thank you so much for the question. And Juan, I want to thank you because I know that you're trying to push this out. I want to thank Mr. Emery. But I cannot say that I have not been productive because I've been extremely productive. Since a young age, I was a part of Key Club Kiwanis, where I helped raise money for Brian Kolfich, a veteran graduate from Preston High School. I was a part of an organization like Student Constructive Decision. So when I hear things like, how can I engage with our schools and our different schools, while they are two separate entities, I can openly say, there's three. I see one of our school board members raising her hands up there, but there are three different school districts, multiple actually different school districts. There's some private schools and there's some charter schools, but I believe we're at 5. The reality is, I've always been engaged. I just spoke at Star International commencement speaker. So that was a keynote speaker. I graduated from Crestwood, and I am working alongside our Crestwood School Board and superintendent, helping to push for safety, allowing for them to be able to use the golf course parking lot, because the safety of our children is also a responsibility, not just as a city councilman, but as the mayor and as a resident. And I have worked alongside our D7 school board members, even our class from class of 2019 to 12. I've supported and donated to every single graduate class because I believe the future stands amongst our youth and our children. So when it comes back to engaging, I stand as the vice president of the Amity Foundation. I am part of Hype Athletics. I have stood on almost several different platforms and organizations. So the question to me doesn't stand. I've attended every city council meeting except for 2. I've never missed a budget hearing meeting. And when I'm called upon our trustees at different school districts, I am there to support them. And that's what I have to say. On that question, it's just the reality. So I'm sorry if I'm coming off a little strong. Stating the facts.
Yes.
I'll send you the date for our meetings.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I want to repeat your question. And the question was about engagement and the productivity that comes from it. Is that kind of what you're insinuating?
It's a question that targets a goal design. It says, how do you plan to address the city's challenges if you have never been involved in school board issues or any other organization within the city? How can you move forward as a mayor, or will you do anything different than that agenda?
Okay.
And the audience wants to know what you.
So I can't respond to how can you achieve so much with so little. And I think the question was biased, and the basis was, can you achieve these things without being engaged and having not prior been engaged? And you can't. That's the answer. You cannot. And so it really starts with showing up. It starts with not just the meetings, but it's me being able to call Tim. And Tim, I have a question about what you guys talked about last week. It's been sitting on my mind, and honestly, I really want to know, right, about the E-Course Street Commission, or Tanya about D7 school district. I want to know what's going on in your cities. But it's all showing up those meetings. But you know what? I'm also going to be the first one to say that it comes down to technology. Do I have to be at every meeting? And if you do, I think it's wonderful. I will try like hell to do it. But why did we talk about bringing into Zoom? And why are we trying to access more people? And so making sure that information is accessible so you guys know what's going on as well. Not just the city. That's not enough. Right? We could do amazing things up here. All 3 of us could. But if you don't know what we're doing, what good is it? If you don't feel it, what good is it? And so engaging with the community and being a part of all those solutions, all those nonprofits, all those 4 businesses, all those communities, all those organizations, all those associations, it's very important that you have a seat at that table. And if you don't, then you're not doing it right. Because if you're not speaking on behalf of the city, then who is? If you're the mayor, who is? And so you have to show force and you have to lead by example by showing up. And so, yes, absolutely show up. Absolutely engage with the community. Absolutely go to every meeting you possibly go to and contribute something and collaborate something and offer something. So, yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So the question is, how do you plan to address the city's challenges when possibly you do not attend or become involved in school board or any other organizations within the city? So to speak, having a pulse on what's around you inside the city that you serve.
Okay. We're gonna talk about city challenges. First of all, if I'm gonna attend a meeting or let's say I don't have to be in person, I always watch it on Zoom because I am a mother, I am a working mother, okay? And I am a caregiver and I also have my own business. So if I don't get to that meeting on time, doesn't mean I'm not participating. I can still watch it at my own time when I'm sitting with my family, okay? That's one. Two, as far as participation, as far as council meeting goes, doesn't mean if I don't attend a council meeting, it means I don't know what's going on in the city. I do know what's going on in the city. I've been in the city. I face the challenges in the city. My kids were born and raised in the city. I took them to this school district. Okay, they attended the school district. I've done a lot in the city. I just don't take a picture and post it every single time I do something. So that's all I have.
For a point of clarification, I heard you to say in your answer that with the things that you have as number one in your life, family, business, and things that you could possibly have a rash of times that you're not on time for the city council meetings as mayor. Is that what I've heard you say?
As mayor or as a candidate you're talking
As
about?
mayor.
As mayor, no, I will make 100% of my time more available because what I'm gonna do right now, okay, is my kids are old enough so they can take care of take care of themselves. Okay, this is why I'm,
Thank you.
Yeah.
So you will commit
of course,
to being on, okay.
Yes.
Thank you. So, my next question again to all candidates, and we will start at this end at this time. What would you do in your first year after being elected as mayor of this city? What would you do to let the citizenry know that you have put boots on the ground or met the rubber where the river meets the road so that the citizens can feel about their vote for making you mayor of this beautiful city? In your first year, what can you commit to the audience that you would accomplish in your first year?
are you starting with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh. So that's funny that you say that because today I actually posted my 100-day plan once ago. I become a mayor in the city. So one of the main things is public safety. So I'm just gonna read a couple of things for just so that way everybody will be aware. We're gonna have to look and create a plan on what to do with our current fire station once it's moved. So that's one of the things. We have to restart our community status system to better allocate our police officers where they are needed. Begin adjusting the city budget and hire full service grant writing. Improve traffic safety by reducing accidents and fatalities throughout our city. Collaboration with the state and city prosecutor to identify and assist families impacted by the domestic violence, by child abuse, and food insecurity. I would be partnering up with food banks and local services on a regular basis. I would allow private businesses to take responsibility for their own internal security and crisis planning so the city, police, and fire services remain focus on public needs. So this is basically just a portion of what I will be doing. I mean, I can keep going and going, but I don't think we have time for that.
I think that alone would probably help. So, thank you very much.
I wish I could read this because this is the plan, but I'll save you guys the despair. I'm gonna try to go through some of the points that I think are important. First and foremost, I'd like to address transparency. I'd like to do a biannual rotating city hall and in 3 districts, so between Westwood, D7, and in Crestwood. I'd like to sit down biannually rotating, so every year, 2 of those districts will be able to sit down and say, hey, these are our concerns, this is what we're seeing, and this is what we'd like to see more of, and collaborate on those. I'd like to first talk about infrastructure as well. I want to do a citywide audit. I'd like to work with a group of individuals, third-party professionals, and engineers to do a full citywide audit of our infrastructure and our water lines. We're having a lot of problems. I don't know if you guys know this, but very often, if you look onto Dearborn's website, at the top page, you see a water main break on blank, on some corner somewhere. And every time you see that, that's anywhere between $20,000 and $30,000. Now, this week is the first of many that I logged on, and I did not see that at the top of my screen. Thank God. But that doesn't mean that problem's going to go away. And as you express, I think about the reckless driving, absolutely 100% on board. Anything we can do to prevent that. But the flooding, that's probably going away. I know we've seen a little bit of rain this year, this past week, but that's not going away, right? Until we address that monster under our bed, it's always going to be a problem. It'll keep coming back. And so I would prioritize that without a doubt. Some of the things that have come up, like because of blight, we've seen road issues, and I'm going to address flood. But it doesn't stop there. Like even if I talk to the chief of police and said, "Hey, let's take it to everybody," you're not going to have fun with that, but it's going to hold you accountable. Your pop, feel it. The police department will bring in a few dollars, sure, but it doesn't stop there. It doesn't solve the problem. So how do I help you repair that moving forward? Right? What kind of reform? What kind of supportive services can I offer? And so first off the bat, I think in the first 100 days, not even the first year, you're going to see a change. And it's going to be a lot of collaboration. I think any one of us will sit down in that seat, especially me. I vouch for myself. I'll sit down with the chief of police, and that's it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Our first 100 days is ready to listed on our website, moveformayor.com. Our first 100 days are gonna stretch out to a few different alternatives. First and foremost, we need a grant writer. I think everybody across our city has said, bring funding to Dearborn Heights. And if you're going to pay a grant writer that's going to be self-funded to receive bringing in money to Dearborn Heights, that is your number one solution. Our second thing, our first 100 days we have online, and anybody that is driving recklessly in our local roads or on our major roads, we are not just going to issue citations and tickets and civil infractions, but we are going to be charging people with reckless driving and actually impounding their vehicle. See, when I moved here 28 years ago, Dearborn Heights, I knew when I got my license, I had to stop at a stop sign for 3 seconds. And if you did not stop at a stop sign for 3 seconds, Lee Gavin came out of nowhere and you got a ticket. I mean, it always happened. And it's not happening anymore. And people don't feel safe. And it's not fair. And the only time people are going to realize that the lawyer is not going to be able to help you is when we take away their vehicle, we take away their car, we impound. And we say you want it back is when you come back from court. And remember, a lot of people don't know. There's some attorneys in the room. You get charged with a reckless driving citation. You can't get a CPL for 7 years. It's going to be very hard to get into grad school. People are going to question. They're going to think twice before they feel like they're in a neighborhood not feel safe. So that is my first 100 days is to say. But another thing, having the right conversation with our counterpart. We already sat down with the speaker of the House, Matt Paul. And he said, Mo, what is Dearborn Heights missing? Because when I sat with the current administration, they said they didn't need it. Those are his words. My words to him was, we are failing and we need help. And let me tell you how we're going to start. I can't promise you that we're going to fix the Ecorse Creek, but I promise you within the first 100 days, we are going to have the right conversation and we are going to bring everybody to the table because this is affecting Dearborn. This is affecting several other cities down Southeast Michigan. And if anybody was at the LAHC dinner,
this is going to be an absolutely loaded question. I warn you before I shoot the shot. The city of Inkster had an economic problem a few years back where the then governor of our state actually bulldozed down all of the schools, the public schools. There's no public schools other than charter schools within the boundaries of the city of Inkster. Do you see that there could be any collaboration, communication with the school board as far as finding out the pulse of how your city that you will be running has any responsibility of those children who have been disenfranchised? Do you see a commitment that should be given to help support those children who are, some of them are actually coming into the borders, Dearborn, into a school called Robichaud. So there is some accountability there. So the question I have for you, do you have any accountability as a mayor to help support your neighboring city?
You want to start, Mr. Hernandez?
I'm like,
Yes, sir.
Yes. The thing is, there's something I want to add to, the question basically, that you asked regarding our school district. Till this day, I don't understand why we have more than one school district. Why there can't just have one school district? Till this day, I still don't understand why we have more than one school district. So I would love to see that in Dearborn Heights. So instead of having 3, 4, 5 school districts in our city, okay, it will be good to actually have one. And it will be better for collaboration, communication, and everybody across the city will feel more connected with each other. And there's no disunity. It doesn't matter what part of the city you're on.
Thank you.
I would love if these were just yes or no questions. But it is tough to follow some of these just absolute bombs that are coming up here. But let's talk about the school districts, okay? And whether we feel a sense of obligation sitting in the mayoral seat to do so. And what I was pulling up, and I'm so sorry for this, what you're saying, but what I was pulling up is something that my team was working on and how the impact of transportation eligibility changed in limits of city of Heights, right? The long answer is this: do these kids live in our city? Do their parents live in our city? Are they Dearborn Heights residents? And absolutely, it's our obligation to figure it out. I don't care how. I don't care what problem you're having. We should be able to bring to the table. That's our job to figure out a solution. Even if it means at the end of the day, if I'm so defeated, I'm like, I tried everything and I can't help. I ain't gonna have. But it's my job to sit there at the table and tell you that to your face, the good and the bad. So whether it comes down to transportation, whether it comes down to school funding, I'm well aware that our school districts are doing a phenomenal job, and I think we have great leaders in those positions. But as the mayor, you have an obligation to make sure they have the tools and resources to succeed. You have an obligation to make sure that your department is working with them. You have an obligation, and absolutely, all three of us should say that a grant writer should come in full time. It shouldn't be a part time gig, not for Dearborn Heights. There's way too much money out there on the table that we're not utilizing that are being mismanaged when they do make it. We're not a case study of how those go, and that goes for our city as well. We just got what is it, $24 million for our school district and the customer school district that they're utilizing now for the next 2 to 3 years. That's amazing. It's wonderful what they're doing with it, and so we just need more of that. Well, that came from grant writing. That came from our school district. Well, they couldn't have done it without collaborating in City Hall. So we do need to see that sort of two-way communication, without a doubt. And as long as you live in the city, that seat, that mayoral seat, has an obligation to you. No matter what project you're talking about, no matter what sector you come from. I don't care if you're talking about schooling, I don't care if you're talking about banking, I don't care if you're talking about nonprofit. We have an obligation to you. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Wonderful question. I just want to make a few corrections. The bond that was passed was $120 million, and I actually supported and stood before that bond because investing in our youth, investing in our children is investing in the future. And if you want a thriving community, you need a thriving school district. And so as the mayoral, when I'm mayor and when we're sitting in that seat, we are constantly having the conversations with many different school districts. As the council chairman, I'm sitting here and I'm looking directly at the president of the D7 school board, who I've had many conversations with, even when I'm reporting my son at a stop sign. She tells me, don't drive while you're reporting, which I don't do for full disclosures. But the reality is, We have to support our school district because we have to support our youth. We have to stand in solidarity with our children because they future. We no longer want to see residents, young residents saying, I can't afford to live in Dearborn Heights. They don't want to be in Dearborn Heights, moving to neighboring cities. And in order to do that, we have to make sure that our school district has the relationships and the connection with the city and the administration. So 100%, we are going to do whatever it takes to allow school districts and students in our community to thrive.
Minute to review with the audience. If you have the 5x7 cards, you have questions on them, please pass them up forward so that I can get them and actually ask those questions.
Sir, I'm sorry if you're getting them to me, and I actually have a
I'm
stack.
sorry.
So.
Correction, that's my third.
Let's bring you here.
I did.
Yeah, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, so just so don't get too double tree. Grab them.
I'm gonna take my part.
Good time to take a good breath, huh?
Breaker, you wanna keep going, Dearborn?
You guys want to take a 5-minute break?
Only.
5-minute break? Good.
In 11 next year. Once, if that's the question, my time getting on. Okay, you're out.
Everyone, gonna keep going.
I remember when I lived in the city, environment. The laws at that time demanded that I stay in the city that I lived in. So at that time, when I became a carpenter in 1990, we had to stay in the city
Right.
that we lived in. However, the laws have changed. You now live outside of the borders of the city that you actually serve. The question is, can you each tell me if you reside in this city? And if you do reside in the city, how long have you resided in this city? Let's start at this end.
I believe everybody here resides in the city because we have to live in the city to be any type of elected official in the city of Dearborn Heights. So what the law may state for first responders, which is a state law that's passed in, I believe, in like 2011, stating that officers and firefighters do not have to live in the city that's working, and in elected officials for I believe local have to live in the respected city that they are running. And I have been in the city of Dearborn Heights since 1997. And I attended elementary school, middle school, and graduated from high school in the city of Dearborn Heights. I don't know how much further I can go on this question. That's good. That's fine.
I moved here when I bought my first house in 2016. So I'm jealous that you got the wrong answer in the splitting. You have to be living here to be an elected official. But I bought my first house here in 2016. And I don't plan on moving. I've remodeled that same house twice to show my commitment that I'm not going in. Not to you guys. Not to me.
It doesn't break. Go for it.
But so I got engaged this past year, and she doesn't really have a choice. So you have to have it on the rest. But yeah, I take this home very very seriously, and despite that, I haven't been here since the 90s. You can say that, Mr. Beydoun, but I have been here for the last 9 years, and hopefully for the next 15. So thank you.
March.
I've been here for the past 23 years. I actually purchased my first home when we got married that I still currently live until today.
Quick, I'm on.
Here.
Is hers working?
I've been in this.
There you
Is
go.
that better? I've been in this city for the past 23 years. I actually purchased my house that I currently live in 23 years ago that we still work on every single year. Basically updating and remodeling our home. So your question, just to go ahead and rephrase, other than us living here, is to basically you have to be an elected official to reside in the city, correct? Just rephrasing.
No, all I'm asking is, do you indeed stay in the borders of the
Yeah.
city? And if so, how long?
Yep. So yes, I answer that. So I thought you were asking something.
Thank you.
No problem.
So this question is specifically for you, Mr. Mo. Wow. Is it true that your name is on over 10 police reports about officers, about police, centering around police stops and possibly fixing tickets? Hard question. You're right.
That is a great question. If my name is on 10 different police situations, this is the first that I'm hearing of this today. Uh, well, it's easy to throw a curveball and make lies and spread that. Human rights is better than that. No further explanation. Please.
Hold on one second. I'm sorry. Give us 1 second. Hang on. I think it's. Gonna cancel that question? Not anything directed to a specific candidate. I apologize. That's what I should have said.
Respectfully, I would like to answer because the question was already asked. I think it's so. That's. We're going to the next one.
Everybody, what? Figure out what I'd like to do. So he's open, and I deeply apologize. That shouldn't have happened. I'm asking questions. That's why we are vetting the questions here. And I should have informed our moderator. There is to be nothing specifically going to any candidate. That is not fair. That is.
And I apologize.
Skeletons in their closets. Nobody's perfect here. Not anyone in this room. So I'm gonna let you answer that. I just want to
I want to answer this since the question was already put out in the public. I want to make sure that we're able to put this to rest.
Your time has been stopped.
Yeah.
My time has started. Oh.
Yeah.
If my name is on 10 different stops,
Gone.
if my name is not on 10 different stops, like the question was asked, I want to be able to answer that individual. I don't know about that because this is the first news I've been brought to one. So if they've been holding on to these type of rhetoric questions, then I say to them, reach out to me. I'm the type of individual, when I'm there, you can pick up the phone and say, come over, I want to have a conversation with you. Because I can tell you hundreds of residents have had the opportunity to call me and say, come over, I want to have a conversation with you. That's number one. Number two, as far as ticket fixing, absolutely not. And let me tell you what ticket fixing is. That means that I'm illegally saying, I will fix this ticket for you if you give me money. That is a lie, that is illegal, and that is fraudulent, and I have never done that. Thank you.
Mr. Moderator, I want to ask for your apology.
It's not forgiven. And look at, but see, it's a question.
And I think the community is seeing your transparency. So here's a question for the whole panel again. And this question has been censored. What are your long-term visions for this city, for Dearborn Heights? Where do you hope to see Dearborn Heights in 4 years before you run again?
You're starting with me. You're gonna start with me.
Where do you see the city progressing to? You have a 100-day plan, and that goes on in 2 or 4 years. What do you see in the future at the end of 4 years?
Hopefully a lot better relationships, more transparency, acting like a community, basically united all together like we should be. Working basically as a team, okay? And this is working on everybody that's with the qualified people that are working within the city right now. We want to make sure that they're actually transitioning and working for the city's interest, not for self-interest. So we want to make sure that's hopefully will eliminate those issues and be looking at more success for the city and a brighter, stronger future.
You ready there? All right. It's really hard not to pivot these conversations to our policies. supposed to be up here selling to you. And this question, though, specifically is one that hits home to me. Thriving. In 4 years, I want to see the city thrive. That means so many different things. That means when you're driving down the street, you have respect for our police enforcement. You know to wait your 3 seconds. It means that when you're driving, you don't see blight as an issue with your neighborhoods, right? It means that we have a city hall that when you walk in, it doesn't look like it was a reestablished and repurposed building from the 80s. That's what that means. I would like in 4 years for us to have distinguished a downtown area for Dearborn Heights. We got to know who we are, right? We are not a city that brings in tourism. We don't have museums. We don't have facilities of manufacturing. We just don't. We're a place where our youth are supposed to thrive, and our old and our seniors are supposed to age older with dignity. Okay? I feel like we lost it somewhere along the way. And if I had one goal in 4 years, it would simply be to thrive in every capacity that we have. This isn't a marketing ploy. I mean, we genuinely have way more potential than we have now. It's there. You just got to grab it. You just got to put the right people in the right places to speak on your behalf. You got to put the right people in the right places to spend our money. You got to put people in the right places to bring money in. And you got to have collaboration between your city officials, your city businesses, and your city residents. And until we do that, we won't see thriving city of Dearborn Heights. We will continue to see a downfall. So that's exactly what I want to see in 4 years. If it's me, and I hope it is, in 4 years, I want to leave a city that I'm genuinely proud of, that I can raise my kids in. So thank you.
Thanks. Thank you. 10 people are still clapping.
Yeah.
You know, this is a great question. This is one of the many reasons why I am running. The father of two, a dog owner to Sophie, and being married to my beautiful wife, who shares me with this community, the Dr. Lee Leslie do. I share this because I find myself many times taking my children to different neighboring communities to enjoy their amenities like pools and parks. So the reality is we need to bring in revenue so that we can offer more to our residents. Because currently where we stand, we are spending and yet we are not bringing in any revenue. So Dearborn Heights right now is really being choked out. We're actually hemorrhaging in our finances. And in order for us to be able to provide for our residents and give them something, we need to give them a thriving community. And so how do we do this? We offer revenue services by event spaces like a civic center, pools. Just the other day, residents, hundreds have called me to tell me, are we closing down one splash pad that we have in the entire city of Dearborn Heights? People are having to go to Dearborn, Westland to enjoy their amenities. And so when I think of Dearborn Heights and the future of Dearborn Heights, safer roads, better infrastructure, offering things like rejuvenating our parks and offering services to our seniors. There's no reason why every single park, which is a walking distance to almost everybody in the city of Dearborn Heights, because we have several parks in our city. Why isn't there a blacktop where you can ride? Because you're not a bike space so that residents can enjoy the safety and know that if you're in this lane, you can ride your bike. Mr. Billboards on Van Horn, because I can tell you that just recently I took a ride with the MDET director from the state of Michigan. I said, drive from my home, turn left, go east on Ford Road. He was almost struck by a vehicle. He said, this is the example that everyday residents of my constituents are dealing with day in and day out. They are not feeling safe just driving to go to work, go home. So when I think of Dearborn Heights, I want to make it safer, I want to make it better, and I want to make it affordable for everybody to learn.
What was just said amongst the panel, I thought it was very valuable. However, that leads me to another question. There is a park that's at the corner of Penn and Beach Daily. It's called Tyrone Wheatley Park. This park happens to be in the border of Inkster. However, it borders the school called Robichaud High School. The Robichaud kids go into that park and they share friendship, fun. It has a dike that goes through that park. There is a phenomenon that happens every year. It's called the Robichaud All Class Reunion.
Roosevelt
Robichaud, I stand corrected. It's a place where adults of all ages, young and old, can come and have a good times. Does this office of mayor, do you feel like there is a responsibility to help financially, emotionally, some type of a way to keep this machine moving forward. Is there anything that you can say that you can do to help promote this to being a success year after year after year? By the way, this year is going to be August the
30th.
30th. And it's a phenomenon, but we very seldom see administrators come into the park to show support. The question I have for you is, do you feel that there should be a responsibility to help that phenomenon, that machine move forward? All of you. Starting with.
That's a great question, and I want to go back to our parks if we're going to be discussing, because I'm not going to treat one park or one event better than I treat any other park or any other event. But what I will say is, I want to speak about the $10 million that we received from the Ecorse Creek from Wayne County. And it's going to go back and it's going to tie in. You say, why is no talking about this? And I want us to all think, Ecorse Creek, I know Suzanne Todd's listening on this one, Ecorse Creek, owned by Wayne County. I sat in a room with our county executive, the county executive, and I said to them, you gave us $10 million for Ecorse Creek. They said, yes. I said, why didn't you give us $10 million to parks like you gave Dearborn? They said, Dearborn Heights requested for this $10 million to go to Ecorse Creek. And I said to them, the reality is you were going to give us $10 million. But instead, when you gave us this $10 million, we gave it because you own the Ecorse Creek. And so when I shared this event that happened, they say that this dollars should be coming back to Dearborn Heights and it should be put back into our parks. And so parks like Kenny Park that we support with neighboring cities like Inkster, if it resides in Dearborn Heights and it's a park in Dearborn Heights, then we are going to invest in it. And I can tell you, if the park is outside of Dearborn Heights, the money should not be going to other neighboring cities while we cannot provide currently for our residents in Dearborn Heights. So to me, if there is any type of funding that we could put to a park that belongs to Dearborn Heights, we most definitely have to do it because we know that if we want to bring our youth, we want to enjoy our community, we have to have things like, our parks with safe, playgrounds and different activities. Like, there's no reason why we shut down our one splash pad during a heat wave. We told residents we can't help. To me, that is absolutely a disgrace to our community. That was a low blow, and we should have at least closed it on at the end of the summer. That's what I would have done as mayor. And if Penny has some type of water, there's no one supporting it as well.
Yeah, I want to echo that. I'm going to short answer yours, and it really does tie into I think just the comment I was making earlier about thriving, right? I've been a part of communities, I've visited communities, I've been at events in communities where you go there and they have like a family feel. You feel a sense of belonging when you have a gathering like that. So that reunion is a beautiful thing. I've never attended, I'm learning from it right now. So I'm not even going to sidestep that. But I do know it's a beautiful thing to bring communities like that together. To have a reunion of different schools and different neighborhoods. But yeah, bigger than that, absolutely. I think Dearborn Heights needs to focus on what we have now for our residents. And it really comes with just acknowledging that we don't have the money that we need to go out there and do more than we can. We just don't. And there's a lot of money up for grabs. And people have told me also this are doing that. There's a lot of money that's not coming to Dearborn Heights because we're not a good case study for those, right? That's just so unfortunate. And we have to show that we are spending these money in the right places. If we had that money in the park, you and I would be having a different discussion right now, right? If we had money to thrive off of and build our communities off of, we all would be having a much better discussion of other parts and other communities and how we can collectively build a neighborhood. So I guess I'll end with this. I would support equally as I would, as he mentioned, equally as I would with every other park we have within the city limits. It's not right that our splash pad got closed down, but the reality is we just don't have the money to fix it. I've seen it. You've seen it. We're all part of it. We're watching these budget hearings and meetings. We just don't have the money to fix it. So we have to find out where these parks can bring community back to our neighborhood. So thank you.
Like Mr. Beaton said, I definitely would actually agree on supporting all of our parks, including our sister city parks as well. Being that said, we have to make sure when we get grants that it's actually being used in the right way possible. Because right now, I don't know if everybody understands that when we ask for grants, And the city or, not the city, I'm sorry, the federal or state government gives us those grants, we have a timestamp on those grants. So let's make sure that if we do ask for grants, that we're actually using them for what it's needed for.
So with answering that question because it eliminates the question that's next. This question, which I'm not gonna ask, but I'll read it, says, for the sake of the person that took the time to put pen to paper and wrote the question. It said a skate park in the city would greatly benefit the community. Who agrees? It sounds like everybody on this panel would agree to that. The question is, where's the money gonna come from?
Tony Hawk.
Margaret King.
No,
That's what.
he gets grants. And his wife's from the area. It's working to the pen.
And we will start with this end.
Sure.
Do you have a plan to deal with Airbnb / football rentals in the city of Dearborn Heights? If so, what is it? And is it one of the things that you have bullet pointed on your website as far as the agenda that you have?
Yes, it is actually on my social media. It's not on the website yet. I'm working on it. So, but as far as the ARV, the rental properties, when I was knocking on doors, a lot of the residents' concerns were rental properties. But we also have to ask ourselves a question. Do we have another place or do we have another building that those renters can actually rent or we can build? Maybe have someone invest in our city. Okay, so that way they can actually bring more value to our city. So those renters won't be so much renting just weekly or maybe monthly basis, that we actually have more fixed renters that are going to be long term and have a second option that we can build on sorry this is I'm trying to explain myself, but I'm trying to rush at the same time. But we need to make sure that we have other solutions. And those other solutions have to be built on our borders. For instance, we're only 8 or 10 minutes away from our airport. So why we can't have other options, basically. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. That's for the sake of this discussion called Airbnbs. Right? Nobody's gonna know any of their Airbnbs. I know you're gonna hear a lot of things, and one of the things that I have to say, not all of you might agree with, but I'm gonna fall in line and parallel to state ordinance, and the state of Michigan allows for freedom of use with homes. However, I'm not gonna go against that, but it should never come at the cost of our neighborhoods. And so some of the exercises we can make is one, we can limit the number of registered houses or zones. I know the city out east is doing that. I'm not gonna say it by name. But the city out east is currently working on that process right now. They're creating an ordinance where they have a distinguished zoning area in neighborhoods where they do allow that. Because at the end of the day, you're right, we don't have a place where people come for tourism. We don't have places where people come from the States, but you wanna know what we do have? We do have families. And guess what? I've never had this, but if my family wants to come from overseas or from out of state and they want to come visit me, and I only have one extra bedroom, and they're a family of 5, please stay in the neighborhood that I stay. Now, I'm not saying that's the case that some of you guys experience. I don't know what you guys are experiencing, but I know it's not good. I know the only reason it's an issue and the reason we are asking us about it is because too many people complain. There's noise complaints. There's some sort of traffic coming in there that people don't welcome. There's crime and there's disruptions in our neighborhoods. There's no place for that. You don't have to compromise. You do have to say, look, you have to abide by our laws and our ordinances. And our charter does not play around. And our police department does not play around. They will stop you. We have sound ordinances in place, they will stop you and they will shut it down. And so a way you can do that is create like a public facing portal where you are able to keep track of these complaints. So after, let's call it 3 strikes for the love of God. Let's call it 3 strikes. After 3 strikes, we're shutting you down. It's no longer an Airbnb, figure it out. Right? But we should allow homeowners to do what they will. I'm not gonna take that right away from them, but I will limit it. I will put up some bumpers up and say this is what we will and will not allow in our city. Thank you.
Thank you.
You just didn't get right.
It's on it.
For the last couple, let's be clear.
Yeah, Tim is on it.
Checking all the charges on the phones, make sure we're not running out of vote.
Yes. Great question. I will have to say, for the first time, I will be not agreeing with my two opponents here on the panel. I don't believe any resident in the city of Dearborn Heights bought their home in a residential neighborhood said, I want to live by condition. So I can tell you right now, when it comes to short-term rentals, I don't believe that they are here because they want to live close to any of our neighbors. The reality of things is they're coming here because we know the two biggest incidents that just took place in the city of Dearborn Heights were short-term rentals from neighboring communities saying they want to have their block party at this short-term rental. And over 100 people were inside of 1,000 square foot home on Fairwood Street. You know what happened when the police showed up? They were gone. So as much as we want to say we're going to enforce this, that short-term rental owner, I don't use the word slumlord, doesn't care what's happening to me and my family, my children, or the neighbor that's living next door. They only care about their pockets, and they don't trust the police department.
Yep.
Right.
So when I tell you, if you want to have a renter live in the city of Dearborn Heights, that is one thing. A short-term rental for somebody that's going to come in there for 3 days, vandalize, have a party, and destroy our community, I say there's no room for that. Dearborn Heights deserves better. This short-term rental has something been of the last, I want to say 5 to 10 years, and Dearborn Heights is not ready for it. Kind of like Shannon said, we don't have museums. We don't have destination locations in the city of Dearborn Heights. Yeah, other cities do. You can go stay in other cities. You can stay in an apartment. You can stay in a hotel. There's no reason why you need to come and stay at a short-term rental in the city of Dearborn Heights, because I can tell you from my experience being on council, from the residents that to talk to me, they are tired of the short-term rental owners, the slumlords that are living in Florida and New Jersey and other states and saying all we want is our pockets.
Audience, I address you at this moment for a short break. I want to ask you to give this panel a real nice round of applause for their energy. You guys are doing great. Too bad we can't have 3 or 4 mayors at one time. More jelly on the sandwich. Here goes. I want you each to name 5 things that you're absolutely knocked off the park happy about the city of Dearborn Heights. 5 things that you're happy about, or that you look at and you say, wow, I'm glad I live in this city.
We're going to create, or that
Well, create that you see right now, and that you, along with the citizens, can say, doggone it, they see it. Everything doesn't need to be fixed. Please.
Ready? 5 things. First and foremost, our residents. Because let me tell you, our residents in the city of Dearborn Heights, while you may see bickering here and there, we are one close-knit community. So a round of applause. Look at this. You are looking at residents. We want united. And so our residents are going to be the moving points for all the future decisions that are being done in the city of Dearborn Heights. Secondly, we're going to have to categorize both police and fire. I want to give them. Responders are going to be extremely busy, and sometimes we forget that the struggles that our officers and our firefighters go through on a day-to-day basis. Some of our officers right now, because we're so short-staffed, are working almost every, I think, 24-hour days straight. Not taking it. That is stress. That is stress on our residents. That is stress on our officers. So I want to recognize first residents, second our police officers, our firefighters, and most importantly our seniors. Our seniors, they are the future. They were once the past and still the future, and they have so much information, so much wisdom. You know, I continue to use Suzanne Todd's name out here today. You know, while me and her may bicker back and forth, she's got so much wisdom when it comes to flood. For so many years, I've had conversations with Rose Trevecki where she's told me, "Look, I've been through so many different administrations. They know the history of what's happened in Dearborn Heights, and they're waiting to see the future to look like. And so our fourth, I have to talk about are the beautiful trees in our city. Now, people hate trees. They say trees bring beauty to our community. We are known as a city of trees. I mean, think of the great things that come out of our trees in our community. And our last and most important things that I want to speak on, that I really want to give our cheers to, are our elected officials. Our mayor, city council, our county, Wayne County commissioner, our state representative, and our state senator. They put their time every single day for the residents of Dearborn.
Well, I'm not gonna give you five. I know. And I saw what he did before me, he did it too. So, I'm gonna say passion. Right? I love the city holds. It's something that I fell in love with very early on. I have been a part of all these different communities. I have attended a lot of these events. Every time that I do, I see a lot of people who come from a different background and they all care equally. That is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And that's one thing I never want to touch. That is something that I want to tap into and see how we can maybe repurpose that for greater good somehow in the city and some of the issues we are experiencing. But I'm here to talk about that. I'm talking about the passion that the community holds. It's a beautiful thing, and I tip my hat because I came in here in 2016, and it's something that I've never done because of, and that half of my family is in the city for. Uh, and passion also comes from, I think, the public servants you mentioned, right? I've had the ability to meet with a lot of our servants, leaders from different departments, and they care. I mean, Chief Brogan cares. Chief Hyla cares, right? Our city engineer cares. A little bit too much, I think, sometimes, but they care. And so our community has that. For residents goes the same way. I think when you look past some of the issues, I love my neighbors now, and I hope that they're listening because there's a sense of comfort now for me to walk out there and know that my snow was shoveled because I was having back pains that day. Really, I don't know if you got to experience it, but it's a beautiful thing. And if I'm on my lawnmower, I'll go over my neighbor's grass and I'll cut it. So I love that sense of community as well. Of the potential that we have, will not change that for a moment. The potential that our communities have and our city has will not change it, won't touch it. And the respect that we have. I heard a comedian speak yesterday about Dearborn Heights, and he said that at the end of the day, our communities, they will look out for you. If you walk to a restaurant and you are hungry, they will feed you, right? Now, the community will hear about it. They'll know exactly that you show up, you're going to have money in your wallet, but they will feed you. 5 seconds. That's it. Respect. I love the respect that we have and that we care for one another. Thank you.
What I love about this city is the community, how diverse, how unique we are. We have so many different backgrounds, so many different religions in one city that makes us very different than other cities. So that tells us that our police department, our fire department are actually the backbone of our city. That's another unique factor. Other than, of course, our community and our residents, that's another thing, our families, our schools. We have good schools. So there's a lot of things that our city has. Any other questions on it? What was the second one?
If you could name two more very good things that you see that's in the borders of this city, that you would actually say that it's there.
Again, I'm gonna say the diversity, the connection. That's very important. We border a lot of different cities, and a lot of our neighbor cities actually come and visit different restaurants, different ethnic foods, different backgrounds, and that's basically very unique and special.
Very good.
So the goal of the gut breaking is certainly this.
Name two things. When you become mayor, just because it's under your skin, you want to do something to change what's irritating you, just knowing you, that it sometimes keeps you up at night. What are the two things that you would want to change? I think we are starting to. Two things.
The first thing I want to change is make sure our budget, funding, all all of our reports are transparent to make it clear to all our residents where the money is going, how it's being spent, what's happening, so that way people feel that they're connected with their city. So that's the number one thing. So it's transparency. Okay. Another thing is unity. We need to all work together. If we don't work together, this is not gonna grow. This is not gonna thrive. We're not gonna have the same vision. We all have to put our personal interests aside and do what's best for our city.
Two things.
I feel vulnerable. Yeah. No, it's interesting to see that a lot of times we do align. I think in the way that we see the city, what it needs. But one of them is showing up. That's the first thing I'll do. I would show up, and that means so many different things depending on the day of the week. If you show up, you're a mayor who's there. The community sees that, and you're right. At that point, we should absolutely take pictures, take videos, post them. Let the community see that hey, we're a family. Because showing up is step one, and that's probably one of the first things that I would do. Right, is to build and enforce a sense of community, collaboration back into our city and all of the purposes and the agendas that we have that ultimately make us better. And the second thing is going to be accountability. It looks like many different things, but holding each other accountable, each department and what they do, and create like a system in which it is performance-based budgeting, hold them accountable. When you start doing that, you'll start seeing results every single time. And earlier I spoke on something. I said, hey, you know what? Accountability isn't enough. It's just not enough because you got to have a plan for improvement afterwards. And if you have that plan, you see that tick up in positivity, in productivity, in efficiency. That's the thing you're after accountability, but recognizing it's the first step. So yes, I would hold people accountable. I would show up. I would build a family culture of collectivism and also hold people accountable when they need to, because that's, I think, one of the first things the city is going to see. That's the first thing you're going to feel trust. As a community, as residents, I know that's the first thing I would feel. If I felt like my mayor was showing up, I don't care if it was a graduation. I don't care if it was a family barbecue. I don't care if it was a reunion at the park. It's there. Or she was there. But they showed up. And that's it. Thank you.
Can you just ask the question one more time for me, please?
Yeah, please.
If you could add, when you become mayor,
I like that when I become mayor.
when you become mayor, what are two things that actually find itself under your skin that when you touch it, it says, ouch, because you know you don't like that feeling? What are two things that you would want to change, knowing full well what's in your heart? What would you want to change?
I am so sorry, but I have to give you three because these are the three things that really slide. They stay at the top. Such really heavy with me and in my chest, and I think sitting heavy in me, sitting heavy in a lot of our residents. And the first thing is reckless driving. People don't feel safe. Yeah. Residents do not feel safe. In order for them to feel safe, we need to tackle down the reckless driving, both in our major roads and our roads. Second biggest thing I think is an issue, and I'm one of seven, because unanimously we all supported this, calling for an investigation on our water bills. Yeah. They drinking our water, most importantly, paying their water. And this sits heavy on me because when I've called for this investigation, and I don't want to dig too deep, certain people at City Hall said, you know who's allowed to investigate this. Lastly, and because I am a victim of this, like many hundreds of thousands of our residents, it is flooding. It is going to be a priority to me. I know the challenges that the South End faces. And one of the largest faces is flooding. Even being in a flood zone, paying that extra deductible. It's just not fair. So these are things that if we can figure out, telling residents, we're going to figure out the solution on the Seahorse Creek together, then we're going to be able to put money back into our resident pockets here in the South End of Heights. If we can figure out the solution to why our water bills are the highest water bills in the country, the residents are gonna be able to have more spending money to be able to enjoy their family and go out and spend it in our city. And lastly, every resident, including myself, it's not just as your councilor, but as a resident. When I walk my dog and I take a stroll through the neighborhoods with my children, I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe, and it's because of the reckless driving. Just the other day, I was on Courier Street, knocking on doors. A vehicle went over 100 miles per hour in front of me. I was afraid. How does my 3-year-old son feel? And so those are the three things that we're going to tackle down, and we promise to deliver on this.
Getting wonderful answers from the panel. I love it. So what, if anything, are you going to do about the blight in this city?
Yeah.
If you see blight, you see it before you come into the office of mayor. What would you, within your power, do to change that around?
I love this question.
And we're starting this time with you.
Every year, you ready, Tim? Every year, the city of Dearborn Heights sends out 2 Dearborn Heights Today. And if you go on moformayor.com, you will see that we are saying, and it's great that we are sending out a Dearborn Heights Today. And we're going to eliminate that because we're going to digitalize the things that we're doing every single day at City Hall. But instead, we're going to take the $30,000 that we're spending twice, which will add up to $60,000. We're going to send out 4 notices a year. What the expectation is of your home, and that this is a certified notice. So residents that receive this letter, just like you received when you're about to replace your new water, we're going to tell residents, in the winter, you must shovel your snow. And if not, you will get a 24-hour notice and you will be ticketed. In the springtime, you must prepare your home and remove your weeds. In the fall, you must rake your leaves. And in the summer, you have to cut your grass. And so we're going to issue out these notices so that residents know. And when they don't, we are going to issue a 24-hour notice because we're going to put the right policies and procedures letting residents know. And if you don't, we're going to give you a 24-hour notice. We will contract it out. We will set a lien on your property for that. Secondly, we are seeing a lot of slumlords. And I want to go back to a slumlord because they're not the slumlords, but they're not the union. But a lot of the slumlords are allowing that are living outside the state are allowing residents to basically. And so if anybody that is being driven once or twice for a citation on blight, you are a winter, they would create an escrow account with City Hall to say, we're going to take that money and we're going to make sure that if you don't cut your grass, that this escrow account is going to pay to cut the grass for the residents that are not cutting their grass. Yeah, we need to start holding people accountable. Not that because of their content. Yeah.
You're in that accountability, bro. No, accountability. And again, it looks differently in case to case scenarios. I know what you guys want to hear, and I'm gonna say it, right? We're gonna hold them accountable. That's gone. Let's go ahead and shut it down. There's no more slaps on the wrist. Let's go ahead and hold people accountable. But it's not enough. And so guess what? There could be somebody who just turned 90 or somebody who just got injured and they can't shovel their snow anymore. There's somebody who can't cut their grass anymore. Or the guy that they hired to cut their grass stopped showing up because he just got too busy. I understand that there are multiple reasons as to why it can happen. I recognize that, I acknowledge it. But you're right, it's not enough, so hold them accountable. What does that look like? Case-to-case study. I saw the other day, and I'm not saying this just to name drop some of the issues you guys are talking about in City Council, but the BSNA situation and bringing them in. And this way, our ordinance officers can now do things offline, start ticket, and then they get to just put their pad down, it docks, and it syncs up. But we can send those tickets up. We're a little bit more productive. We're a little bit more efficient. So we can hold those people accountable for their actions. But no, let's call them slumlords. You know, some of them are not. And we can't really create a blanket statement for everybody. But for those guys, yeah, right around the third time, we're not here to mess around. This is our city. We talk about creating neighborhoods that thrive and we're happy of. There's no room for that crap. You know, excuse my language, but there's just no room for that. There's no room for excuses. No room for like, I'll get around to it. Yeah, put your garbage cans in the back. There are cities who uphold themselves to a high standard. Why aren't we one of them? Why do we make so many exceptions? Why are there so many reasons I drive down and I see the same thing? And so, yeah, it comes down to ticketing. You're gonna feel it. Anybody that shows up here is probably having those issues. You're showing up. You're doing your job in society in this community. right? But there are people who are experiencing those issues. And so, yes, their pockets will hurt first, second, third time. But after that, yeah, the city should not mess around. And so I would work, and I wish I had all the power in the world, but we don't. We have to at least depend on our different departments to do that. We have to depend on our ordinance office to do that, our building office to do that. Thank you, Tim.
Before you give your answer, I'm gonna ask the board, how much time do we have? It's almost 9 now.
Till 9 o'clock.
Until 9 o'clock, so we have a few more minutes. We want to give the panel a chance to address this audience. So after you finish your answer, we're going to try to give the candidates at least 2 minutes each to do closing statements before we have to leave at the 9 o'clock hour. And we're trying to close as quick as we can to that 9 o'clock hour. So feel comfortable. Please, thank you.
In case people want to interact, whatever.
Yeah. Have we taken anything from the audience?
We have been. That's you. We're more than it is. No, you're.
Okay.
Basically, just where Mr. Anani left off, as far as ticketing and as far as, holding people accountable for, for blight. I agree, we need to hold our residents accountable, but we also need to hire or at least see if there's a volunteer that can do community service, okay, in the neighborhood to help the patrol, to help the officers, so that way they're not being called to actually get this done, to help okay, to help with basically communication, okay, so that way to see what's going on with that resident, why they're not, did they fall and hurt themselves? Is it because of something else? Okay, try to communicate and build that relationship.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So I'd like to address the audience before the candidates come up to give them a few minutes to gather their thoughts. At this time, I want to thank each and every one of you. You guys make me feel so proud. You guys are here, and you're here as a citizenry to come and find out what's happening in your community. You guys make me proud. I'm sure the candidates, once whoever gets elected as mayor of this fine city, they will be so proud to step to the front of the group more or less and serve you. Now, thank you, and I applaud you.
Sir. Before you start, so I know everybody's gonna scramble as soon as I get done, everybody's done. So I just want to let everyone know that this association meets the fourth Thursday of every month, January through October. So we do have guest speakers, so keep that in mind. We meet from 7 to 8 typically. Sometimes we'll have state reps here, whatnot. We'll have DPW, we'll have different people. The police chief has been here, so please keep that in mind. We would like, if you do come and attend regularly, there's a $15
Yearly
membership.
fee.
So yearly, but if you could give towards that, if you come to a lot of meetings, that would be great because it helps us buy the snacks, helps us buy different things.
Also pays our neighborhood watch
Yes.
gentleman who drives.
Gentleman, police is Westwood. He does some at the south end for us, so money from that goes to him because he doesn't get paid. He does it on his own. I believe there was one more thought in my head.
What's on the schedule for next month? Do you have something already?
Yes, next month we're gonna have our treasurer, Lisa, and our assessor
Our treasurer and our assessor.
at the same meeting.
So Lisa
Well,
will be there.
Now, there may be a conflict as
Will there-
nation next month.
will there be a city council candidate debate as well
I don't.
Yeah, well, probably after August.
after the primary? Other
Yes.
debates as well.
Yes.
There we go.
I arranged the meetings.
There we go.
Should be a council debate coming up.
And we also have a treasurer.
And then we might also, I'm gonna keep these questions, I filled them all out and I appreciate it. But we'll keep these questions in case we do like another mayoral debate towards the end and we have two candidates left. If we end up doing one, we'll have these questions and can utilize them. But thank you all for coming. I appreciate you guys have been awesome. to sit here this long, so quietly and patiently. I appreciate it.
And we've never had so many people. We appreciate it.
So with that, I will let.
Well, all the accolades have been said. I think the citizenry, before they leave tonight, I think they're wanting to hear not from me, or from you. So this is your time. We have how many minutes? We have 2 minutes each, and I think that the gentleman who has taken time is watching this clock so closely. So if we could start, who would like to start? Okay.
I want to thank everyone for being here today. I'm sorry I actually started a little bit. I am a little bit nervous because I'm not a public speaker, but for anybody that wants to connect with me one-on-one, or maybe I did not answer their questions or I didn't get to, I would love to actually set that up. They can communicate with me through my email, through my website, or I'll be more than happy to stay after and give them my business card. Because at the end of the day, we do want what's best for our city, what's best for our residents. And in order to actually do that, we do have to communicate. Thank you. Wait, you need to throw right here.
I'm going to thank you to every single one of you. I mean, you guys don't understand how hard this has been for all of us to get to this point, and how hard it is to door knock the governments we do, and to create policies the way that we do, and to preach the way that we do, and be ready for these questions. It is not easy being up here. So for you to show up and just willing to listen, you could have chosen to sit at home, get the date, get the bullet points situated. So thank you for coming. I think it's an amazing thing. Politics has so much potential to be beautiful. I mean, your credentials for what next mayor should look like, it could be, you know what, I want a painter, I want a mill, I want a name that I recognize. I want somebody with credentials in business because we should treat this like a business. I want somebody with credentials because they show up to the parks because that's what we need, a community leader. It's beautiful to know that every single one of you has a different agenda that you're checking your list off. And I hope that I'm one of those people where we sit down, you see a lot of yourself in my values, right? And for a moment, I'm gonna just say this: that me and my committee are working on policy. These are two of them. These are the policy letters. First one's 4 pages. Second one's 3 pages. Yeah, you can check the bullet points too. Yeah, they're available online. I'll make it easy. But you're more than welcome to read these, right? So we're here to work with the community on what you actually need. Right? These are fluid. They've changed twice since I've made them because ARPA fund updates come out. So they change where the money's coming from, how we're spending it, they change. But a lot of what the city needs is management because it's being mismanaged, whether it be the money, whether it be the people, whether it be communities, whether it be associations, it's just being mismanaged. And so I hope that you see yourself in a lot of my policies and the strengths that I have to bring to the table. Thank you so much for coming, and I look forward to meeting everybody that I haven't yet.
Friends, family, to my opponents here, who I saw, our colleagues and residents, thank you guys. You guys are beyond passionate, and you definitely have won me over today. To our residents, thank you guys so much. This is about us and uniting and standing together. I cannot tell you that the conversations that I've had, the residents that I'm ready to move, I cannot do another 4 more years. And I share this with you today because enough's enough. And I think it's time for change. Our police wants change, our firefighters want change. And just to give you a little quick understanding of how hard my team and I have been working to show you, the residents, how important this is to us. And thus far, and I know I've mentioned it earlier, 22,000 plus doors have been knocked across the entire city of Dearborn Heights. Every single neighbor has been walked through by either myself, a firefighter, or a fellow. We know the challenges that are facing Dearborn Heights. We want to move forward united because as a village, when we come together, nothing is going to hold us back from making Dearborn Heights to become a thriving community like it was just about 10, 15 years ago. Because in my time when I was in high school, I believe that Dearborn Heights, and it still is, but it needs to make some of these kinks. I know that there are many questions here that still have been unanswered. I asked that if you wrote a question that was not answered, please email me, call me direct. On this Saturday, at 1 o'clock, swap the park. the 300 Michigans from Custer Cove and having conversations. Get the scoop with multiple. 1 o'clock. If you have a question here that's not been answered, please join us. Ask me those questions. Support me or not. Hear the voices of me, Nani, Mrs. Arzon. Because come November, or Mrs. Maxwell, come November, one of the 4 of us will be your next mayor of St. Joe Heights. So thank you guys for everything you have done.
Just would like to say to our moderator, thank you. Thank you so much.
Water.
At the table and not do it elsewhere. So I don't know if further out, but definitely. I mean, you have to go to the building. Each